So Graham and I are going to bring into focus some of the objects that can be seen in the community display cases. I want to focus in particular on the prints that we can see by George Baxter. So Graham, could you explain to us a little bit about these prints and how they influence popular culture in the Victorian age?
Well, I mean, to start, the prints are not Baxter originals. The prints themselves are, in fact, kind of mass-produced reproductions of Thomas Daniel's Oriental scenery that we talked about earlier. So again, it shows the length of influence Oriental scenery had, right into the mid 19th century. When just before the advent of photography. So the second plate is the Chali Satoon, which is in the fort at Allahabad on the River Yamuna. It's a 40-pillared, domed, octagonal pavilion tower right on the edge of the fort, it's one of those images that is indicative of synthesis, because it's built by Emperor Akbar, and Emperor Akbar was perhaps the first Mughal emperor to look to consciously synthesize Hindu and Islamic forms, most notably in Fatehpur Sikri.
Yeah. So if we move on along now to the other display case that we can see now that there's a paisley shawl that's been draped over a Victorian dress. And Graham, I wanted to ask you a little bit about how these Indian designs also became popular in terms of clothing as well now.
The shawl is really a result of the constraint of the body with the whale bone corset and the crinoline, which made it virtually impossible for women in the period to wear a coat. The paisley pattern itself had been popular since the 17th century when it first came in. It's associated. It's an elite item of clothing at that point. It's Indian handicraft, associated obviously with the Kashmir shawl. The Kashmir shawl, obviously, kind of high quality wool silk, imported in relatively large numbers, but like the Oriental scenery, going to elite customers. Paisley itself, and the reason the pattern gets the name Paisley, and it's really originally a sort of Persian teardrop, is because of the mass manufacture of the shawl and that pattern in Paisley in the 19th century. It's mass produced. You lose a lot of quality. Yeah. So I mean, even the best Paisley pattern is a quarter of the range of colours that we can see in this shawl, and handcrafted shawl. But it does mean, like the Baxter prints, that it reaches a much
more people,
greater
exactly,
audience.
And it sort of goes into popular culture in that
Absolutely.
sense. People are wearing it as well.
It's everywhere. We talked about pyjamas being...
Exactly, yeah, of course.
I don't know anyone who hasn't worn a pair of Paisley pyjamas at some stage in their life.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Graham, and thank you for listening, everyone. Do go and have a little look at the objects we've discussed in the display cases in front of you, and enjoy the rest of the exhibition as well.